Hi, this is Marguerite Tonry, and today I am talking with Fabrice Matray, and Fabrice Matray is the illustrator of Copic Master's visit, and we also are accompanied by Chloe Boyer, and Chloe will help us in case we run into trouble in the language barrier. So I only speak English, but luckily Fabrice speaks English as well as French. So Fabrice, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you to you.
We're going to talk about you, illustration, and Copic Master's visit. So I suppose the first thing I would like to know is, I know that you have loved illustration or drawing since you were a young boy. I know that you are passionate about your work because I can see it in your craft, in your skill. You have an incredible ability to just find the creative or find the fun in anything. So I love that about your work. When we were looking for an illustrator, at the time we were looking for an illustrator, it was lockdown in Ireland, the first lockdown in Ireland. And so I wrote a short picture book for children because I wanted to do something for children who were isolated during the pandemic and who didn't understand what the pandemic was all about. So I wanted to write a little story that could help them understand the pandemic, social distancing, washing your hands, and staying safe. And then I approached you to illustrate. So I suppose I have a list of questions that I must ask because I've been told to ask these questions. Okay. And the first question I have to ask is, we asked you to illustrate Copic Master as a fluffy and cute monster in the time when COVID was killing everything.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that to create a fluffy monster, even though it was teaching children about the COVID pandemic? How did you find
it? First, I'm sorry for my bad English.
Oh, don't worry, your English is better than my French, far better.
So when you contact me for the COVID Monster visit, yeah. You send me the text, and yeah. And you say you want a monster like teddy bear.
Yeah.
And in my head, the COVID monster is more monstrous. It's with spikes and I start to draw monster like this. And you don't like it. No, that's not good. Then I try to draw a monster more how do you say, gentil, more
yeah, nicer for child, like who won't scare us.
More gentle.
Yeah. Less scary monster. Scariest.
And you said before that it should be a monster with which children will get attached, like they will kind of like him and accept him in their lives.
Because what happened was I met a lot of really young children and they were terrified.
Yeah.
The first name they put on it was Monster. So I met children, this particular little girl, and she said the Kona Monster. And then she said to me, did the Kona Monster lick your face? Because she had a little dog and the dog wasn't allowed to lick her face, because if the dog licked her face, it might not be healthy. It wasn't healthy. So she thought that if people were getting the COVID-19 virus, it was down to this Kona Monster who was licking your face when you were asleep at night and didn't know it. So it was scary, and they were creating, and I met a number of children and they were creating their own world around this to try and explain it to themselves to understand it. So I thought, let's try and change this a little bit and make the monster a lovable monster in some ways, who had strayed away from home and he was doing all the wrong things, but it will be okay because his mum is looking for him. And when she finds him, she will bring him back home and it will be okay. But until then, we need to be safe. You know, I was trying to kind of make it as child friendly as possible and to help children's anxiety reduce. So I think we achieved that, but I especially think we achieved it in the illustrations because the illustrations were incredible. Yeah, you agree? Yeah, I agree. You agree? Yeah, you agree, Illustrator? Yeah. No,
you agree?
You agree?
Ça veut dire quoi?
Elle vous demande si, est-ce que vous êtes d'accord avec le fait que les illustrations représentent bien le monde du Covid? Enfin, voilà, est-ce que vous êtes sûr?
Oui, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So behind you in the clip that we have on YouTube, that we will have on YouTube, you have the Copic Master behind you, and the Copic Master is big and fluffy and cute and like a monster you could hug. But he also is at the age of the young children, so he's only about 3 or 4 years of age. So he does what every young child does, is he goes to the playgrounds. But when he goes to the playground, he leaves his really squishy hands, and he leaves his squishy wherever he goes. And because he leaves it there, we can't go to the playgrounds. The children can't go to the playgrounds. And it's kind of giving that message to children. You created a number of illustrations throughout the book, Fabrice. How easy or how difficult was that?
C'est like, comment j'ai fait pour faire les illustrations, c'est ça?
Oui, c'est ça. Comment vous avez fait des étapes entre vous pour discuter des différentes illustrations?
You sent me the text.
Yes.
For the text of the book. Yes. Then I have some you give me some indications, but what I love with you, yeah, it's that you let me do you let me some place for my drawing and my imagination. Only in someone's illustration you want a little fairy or something like that. Yeah. But what I love, it's I can somewhere I can do everyone I want in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's really important for me.
You can express yourself.
Yeah, for me it's very important that the illustrators that I work with, that I trust, and that I allow them. I am not an illustrator, I am not a designer, and I won't step into your world because I know that you're very skilled. I know that you're very creative. And if I step in there and try to interfere, then I will steal your creativity. I will take your creativity from you, and I ruin the book. Can you translate, Chloé?
Yeah. Elle dit que elle a trouvé ça normal de vous laisser un espace de création et de vous laisser vous exprimer, parce que sinon elle aurait eu l'impression de s'imposer un peu dans votre processus de création et que ça aurait plus du tout été spontané et que ça aurait un peu gâché votre talent, on va dire, et vos illustrations.
Okay.
And my favorite illustration is the teddy bear. I thought that was really creative because when I saw it, I go, wow, this man really loves children. And this man really knows what children love. So when I saw that, I said, oh yeah, because every child would look at the teddy bear and go, whoa, no way is Copic Master getting my teddy bear. And they would be shocked by that, and they would hold their teddy bear closer to them. So I loved that because you understand children. There's a playfulness throughout. I loved all the illustrations you created. And then what was wonderful about this collaboration is that We wanted this book to get into as many children's hands as possible. So it was translated from English to French, German, Italian, Spanish, Irish, Estonian. The new one is Estonian, and Chinese. The Chinese one will be here in the next week. And I need to send you these copies as well, Fabrice. So it's in multiple languages. And by being in multiple languages, we're in a position to help you as well by saying, this is Fabrice Matray. His name is on the book. This is what he creates. And ask him to create more projects for you, you know. So it's a fantastic thing to get into as many populations as possible and cross language barriers. And it has been an incredible adventure with Copic Master's visit. It's been we've had a greater adventure with this book than any other book, because people have loved it, and they've loved your illustrations, and they've loved the story. The illustrations and the story met very well. So well done, Fabrice Matray. Of all of the illustrations you created for the book, which illustration is your favorite?
In the book?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the illustration with the teddy bear and when he, how do you say?
This was
yeah, I love it.
I love this one.
Yeah.
And on the two child in the bathroom or something like that.
So I wanted to show people as well. This is something that I treasure. I kept it in its wrapper. And Fabrice sent me a signed copy of Copic Master's Visit, the English version of the book. And when I signed the book, I literally just signed my name. When Fabrice signs the book, that is a signature. It's an amazing illustration. And for those who are on the podcast at the moment, you will see it if you tune into the YouTube. But if you're on the podcast, he has the Copic Monster with a big bunch of flowers in his hand. And he said, "Some flowers for you, Marguerite. Thank you for all." Fabrice Matray. That is a signature and a half. That is an incredible signature. And thank you for that, Fabrice. My signature, on the other hand, is simply my signature. So the difference between an illustrator and a writer is portrayed in the signatures. So thank you, Fabrice. I treasure that and I keep it safe. Thank you very much for that. I want to say that this has been a massive achievement for both of us, Fabrice. In a lockdown, when the world had stopped, and people were anxious and weren't able to work, or losing their jobs, or people were sick, our friends or family members were becoming sick, or even passed on, died. So it was a difficult time for everybody, and to be creative in a time that was so stressful. There aren't many illustrators and designers at the time that we were looking for an illustrator that were able to take on a project, because they felt they couldn't, because there was too much pressure or too much stress at the time. And I think it's a wonderful achievement that you, not alone did you create, but you create a magnificent world in Copic Master's Visit. Did you find it difficult to create or to imagine when it was so stressful at the time in the world? It still is stressful, but in the beginning of lockdown, it was very stressful. Did you find it difficult to do these illustrations?
The difficulty is the short time for the, how do you say,
the deadline.
the délai court, quoi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finds the deadline really short.
Yeah,
He had
deadline.
to
And that was the
do it
funny. We
quickly.
can laugh at that now,
Yeah.
Fabrice,
But
because
also I had to draw very fast and to do some big day to work to finalize the book in the time. And but I love to work on this book.
I think we can laugh now, because how we can laugh about this, Chloe, you mightn't understand this, but when I wrote the book, I wrote it on a Sunday morning and it took me about 5 minutes. And I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone who is an author, and I said to her, I've been thinking about this because I've been talking to children. I've been thinking about this book. I wonder because I was trying to think, what could Tribes Press do to help people? And I said, I was thinking about it. And she said, oh, yeah. Do you know what? I might write a story and create a book. Maybe it will work. So I wrote Copic Master's Visit. It took about 5 minutes. It just came from inside of me. It just flowed. And when it flows, you know it's right. If it's difficult, you know it's not. So then I tried illustrators and everybody was too stressed, and the time was passing, week 1, week 2, week 3, and then Fabrice came around, and Marielle Vorel was here. She was working here in Ireland. She's French, and she got in touch with Fabrice and she said, could you do this? And when he originally did the monster looked monstrous. And I was like, oh no, I'm just going to forget about this book. And Marielle said, give Fabrice another chance. And at this stage, I was getting...
Thank you, Marielle.
Yeah, thank you, Marielle. So I said, okay, Marielle, we give him one more chance. So Marielle said, Fabrice, sent him a message again. Fabrice, could you take the tail off the monster and make him less monstrous? Like a teddy bear.
Like that. This one, I don't know if... Ah, on voit rien. Ah, that won't work.
No. So, and you did it. And it was wonderful. But we thought that we wouldn't have much time with COVID. And that's why it was a very tight timeline, because we thought that by the end of the summer, last summer, COVID was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And we wouldn't be
You
able
were
to
very naive at the time.
Yeah. But now Ireland is in its 3rd lockdown, and this lockdown will be extended now for another 6 weeks at least. So it's quite funny looking back. Poor Fabrice was under incredible stress to get this done because we thought that COVID would be gone. But it's still here, and I think it will be here for another year. But so that was the funny part of this, but not funny for Fabrice because he was working very hard to complete the illustrations. But thank you for the timeline, and don't worry, in any other project we give you, you will never have to compete with that timeline. You will be given enough time. But thank you so much. But that was the funny part, but we thought this COVID pandemic would end quite quickly, but it didn't. It still does. Let me see, do I have a question? Is there a particular question?
Moi, si j'ai des questions?
Non, elle cherche une dernière question qu'elle avait notée.
Yes, so the last question that Chloe wanted me to ask you is, do you feel proud that your work is in 8 languages and is available around the world? Do you feel proud of your achievement in a very difficult year?
I'm really proud of it. It's an enormous chance for me to work on this project, and I love this project. All my family, all my friends, in France, all the people next fan. I know once the book, and I make some dédicaces or everything. It's in 8 languages. I'm so proud. But on what I love, it's what I say in the French interview. it's the your personality, Marguerite, with when you want to give the book to children who can't have books and read some books. And when I saw the books in the hands of their child in Africa,
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
I thank you very much for all that, for your confiance. Comment on dit confiance? For
your confidence and the fact that you trust him with the...
Thank you very much for all.
I'm delighted to be a part of it. It's a collaboration. It was a collaboration. With picture books, it really is a collaboration. And the best is yet to come, Fabrice. There's something else coming down the line. So fingers crossed for that for you. So yes, we did. We extended we set up a GoFundMe page. And for anybody who wants to know what the background is here, we set up a GoFundMe page. We donated then through the GoFundMe page, we donated books to St. Vincent de Paul here in Ireland, Word Power, the World Literacy Foundation in the UK, the Adi Flor in France. Am I pronouncing that properly? Is that
yeah.
And 22 Stars Foundation in Germany, Netherlands. They're in both countries. And the books have been distributed throughout different countries now, and we want to extend that. We want to engage. We're engaging with other charities now to get those books into the hands of the most vulnerable children who are isolated in this time of pandemic. So fingers crossed that will continue. And if anybody wants to donate, we will give you the link to our GoFundMe page at the end of this broadcast. So you can donate. For every euro you donate, it will go towards books being sent to charities, to children in vulnerable places around the world. So Fabrice, thank you very much for this conversation. It was wonderful to talk to you again. I hope we collaborate with many more projects, and thank you for taking this time out of your day.
Thank you. Thank you to you and to Tree Press, all the staff. Au revoir.